Welcome to the Litigation Psychology Podcast, brought to you by Courtroom Sciences. I am Dr. Steve Wood. With me, as always, Bill Kanasky. Bill, how are you?
Steve, good. How are you?
I'm very good, very good. I see. I like the new studio setup you got going there.
I don't believe you. I don't believe you. I don't like it. I'm in the master bedroom now because I got booted out of the man cave. So on the last podcast, I described the view of the laundry. I got the smell of the litter. I got the smell of the laundry and litter box. So I got a combo.
Beautiful.
Of
you went from Chick-fil-A to cat shit.
Yeah, because see, in the man cave, it smelled like a men's locker room. It smelled like dirty feet. And it smelled like 3-day-old Chick-fil-A. Now that the 21-year-olds moved back in. So now I've traded one set of problems for a different set of problems. It is what it is. But I got I got my sign, I got my backdrop. I'm good. I gotta hop right into this rant. 2 words. Marshawn Lynch. Oh my God. Okay, I
was just going back to, it hit me. I thought we were going to go back and talk about our cognitive distortions portion from part 2, but actually I know what you're going to talk about now. Oh.
I mean, Marshawn Lynch. Okay. So the mugshot was classic.
Yeah.
Blasted out of his mind. Now, Steve, just so our viewers, maybe we have some viewers and some listeners that aren't sports fans. Give us your 30-second Marshawn Lynch. I mean, fantastic running back for the Seattle Seahawks for many years, right?
Yeah, beast mode, right? I
beast
mean,
mode.
he had once had a run where the crowd got so excited, didn't it actually show up on the Richter scale as a small earthquake? So
yes,
hard physical runner, always a man of many words, or few words. And loved his Skittles.
Yeah. So today, I watched, it's on YouTube. I watched the police cam footage.
Oh, I got to go watch that.
The body cam footage. It's absolutely golden. Classic. So they pull them. It's 2 female police officers that pull him over. The cops are laughing their asses off. They can't stop because Marshawn Lynch, he kind of wrecked the car. He's got a front tire blown out. The door's wide open. Marshawn Lynch is laying back. He's got the seat back. He's wearing the pant, kind of like I don't know. I don't even know what this is. Where the dudes that wear their pants down, like the belt buckles, like roughly in the middle of his thighs, and he's got the boxer briefs, whatever that look. That's not a good look for me, by the way. I have never prepped a witness with my pants down like that and my boxers pulled up. I know the kids like that look. Not a good look for witness prep, or in court jury selection consultation.
Yeah, I would frown upon that. Yes.
Not good. And he's laying back and he is wasted out of his mind. He's got his big smile on his face. He's just smiling. And the cop's like, "Do you know where you're at?" And he's like, "No." They go, "Is this your car?" He goes, "No." And they just keep asking him questions. And all he does is laugh and laugh and laugh. It's not fun. I mean, listen, folks, don't be impaired and drive. My cousin got killed by a drunk driver. I mean, this is really serious shit. But Marshawn Lynch, these whether it be athlete, I mean, or who just Heish just got all the actor just got all what was it? I think it was a fentanyl and coke or something. I mean, really whacked out of her mind, and then now she's dead. I mean, folks, let's be smart. I mean, I just had a rant about texting and driving and stuff like that. But gosh, I mean, if you're in the public eye, and then everybody's laughing at it. Everybody's laughing at it. I go watch the body cam. It's actually hilarious, and then you feel bad about laughing so hard because you're like, God, he could have killed somebody or really hurt himself, or be like Anne Heche and kill yourself. God, folks. So folks,
get an Uber.
Really, smarten up, right? I'll go back to the Nancy Reagan. Just say no, right? Just say no. Okay. And by the way, Marshawn Lynch has enough money to have a professional driver just take him anywhere he wants to. Not to drive a $150,000 Lamborghini at God knows how fast he was going before he wrecked the car. Gosh.
Yeah.
And it never stops. You see it every couple of weeks, one of the mugshot. It's terrible. So that's my rant. Everybody be smart. Don't drink and drive. Don't smoke and drive. Don't do fentanyl and drive. Just any of those things. Don't do that and drive.
With all due respect to all of your other rants, I think this was one of your better rants.
Well, it's
your PSA rant.
But it's just like, and then you sent me the link about the other football play. It's like, what are these people doing? Everyone's just lost their collective minds.
Yeah. Well, let's hope we can enlighten some of the collective minds here on this podcast as we close out the cognitive distortions. We're on 11 through 13. Close it out. Good feedback. We've been getting good feedback on these. So I think it goes back to the point where we were saying how important these were and how it's a topic we haven't touched on enough, but it can be very valuable. So the feedback we've been getting on this has been really good. So I appreciate it.
Well, it's important because attorneys don't understand why their witnesses suck. And it's our job to tell the attorneys why the witness sucks and to fix the suckness, right? That's what we do. And 95% of the suckness, I don't know if that's a word, I just made it up, is in the brain with these cognitive distortions. And it happens in every case. And sometimes your witness has multiple versions of these distortions. We named 13 here. They could have 4 out of the 13.
I can think. I actually have one coming up where I talked to the attorney, and the attorney said that they have roughly 6 of these that we're talking about today. So, good luck with that when you go in there, but that's what we do. Right.
Oh, by the way, but we are publishing this paper. We have to figure out where we're going to publish this. So if any of our audience members, you're affiliated with the publication, you have some thoughts on this, get back to us. We will do our due diligence and look at it, but we have to figure out where we're going to send this highly scientific paper. Really. It's all science, folks. It's all science. Let's start. So we're 11, 12, 13 going on here. Let's jump to, let's just pick up where we left off. Number 11, cognitive distortion, emotional reasoning. We have covered this all too often on the podcast. I have published a paper. I am giving a speech with Tad Eckenrode, our buddy from St. Louis, trial attorney, on Friday. I already got 100 people. It's a webinar speech. It's a 2-hour speech talking about this phenomenon of amygdala hijack. I guess the regular way of putting it is emotional reasoning, but this is when your witness uses the emotional part of their brain. They do not use the logical part of their brain. And the emotional part of your brain, which is a combination of the amygdala combined with the hippocampus, combined together to make your witness say and do crazy things. You've seen our videos. A quick jump onto YouTube. I think if you put in witness deposition meltdown, right? I mean, you're just gonna get thousands of examples of amygdala hijack over here. So the lay person's term here would be the witness goes into fight or flight response patterns. And this is not good because that means the prefrontal cortex, logical part of your brain, the rational part of your brain. Oh, by the way, the area of the brain that stores all this witness preparation data, the part of the brain that's responsible for logic, judgment, rational decision-making. Yeah, all those positive things, that area of the brain shuts down. It's like a light switch. Amygdala hippocampus takes over and crazy things start coming out of their mouths. And this happens during witness prep, thankfully, because there's a way to fix this. But I would argue that the emotional witness by far is the most difficult witness to train. Thoughts?
I agree. A couple things that you said on it. I think one of the first things is that when we talk about emotional witnesses, a lot of times everybody's first thought is to go to the whole idea that they're going to get snarky or they're going to say things, to be a wise guy or any of that stuff like that. But it doesn't necessarily have to be a snark or anger or any of that. It can actually be, confusion, frustration. Those are all really, essentially emotional mistakes too, or emotional responses too. And I think too many times people get focused on, oh, well, I'm not going to lose my temper. They're never going to be able to get to me. And it's like, that's fine, but that doesn't
Everybody
mean
says that, Steve. So I'm working with this witness last week in Texas. And he told me 6 times during the, kind of our phase 1, educational didactic part of the witness training, told me 6 times, oh, I'd never do that. Oh, I'd never say that. I'd never do that. I'd never say that. Yeah. Well, we got to day 2 and guess what?
You said all
these witnesses say, oh, I'm not going to lose my cool. Oh, I'd never make that facial expression. I'd never have an outburst. Well, guess what? A seasoned veteran and talented cross-examiner can bring the worst out of anybody without the proper training. Now, luckily, we have a training program. I think it's the only training program out there to solve this problem. Systematic desensitization, and which we put them, it's kind of like flight simulators. That's how they train pilots, Steve. They have thousands of hours, astronauts too. They put them in flight simulators and they create problems. And you sat in one and big problem, the truck driving simulator. Those things are there for a reason. Why? You can enter in the computer, hey, I want it to snow in 10 minutes. And then the driver has to make adjustments, right? And you want to simulate these stressful / emotional conditions and have them get through that situation. And that's what we do with our witness training program. It has to be simulated, just like the simulator for the truck driver or the pilot. Because what happens is someone gets into a threatening position. Can you imagine being a pilot? I'd have to wear a diaper to be a pilot. I'd be panic city, USA, right? And these pilots and now these truck drivers, I think is brilliant. They get additional training sitting in that simulator, being exposed to the threat, and then taking their training that they've gotten and to utilize it, right, to eliminate the threatening stimulus by making the right behaviors, making the right decisions. And here's the best thing, and I want you to comment on this. Crashing and burning in the simulator, whether it be the pilot simulator, the flight simulator, the truck driving simulator, or the witness training simulator, is absolutely the number one best way to learn.
Yeah. Obviously you want all your mistakes to happen in training, right? If you think about anything, and we use a lot of sports analogies on this. It's the same way. You want all your mistakes to be made in practice rather than make them in the big game. And I think, the same thing goes for depositions, and that is you need to crash and burn because you're gonna crash and burn, and you'd rather have it prior to the deposition. And I think I wanted to go back to, and that was actually my second point I was going to talk about when you were talking about emotional witnesses as well, is, the whole idea when the witness tells us, oh, I would never do that. They're never going to get to me. They're never going to get to me. Then I always make it my goal in that situation to essentially, if we're doing cross-examinations and the attorney's doing it, I might jump in and take over for a little bit too, because, you and I it's kind of the outsiders who they don't know. And then we go at them a little bit like plaintiff attorney is going to, and sure enough, they do and say the things that they said they weren't going to, or they get upset to the point they weren't going to. So.
Despite what our clients and our audience may think of us, we could be real assholes when necessary. And I think that's really important, because if you're going to mimic what they're going to go up against, I think it's really, really important. So what I like to do, and sometimes the attorney is really good at it, and that's great. But sometimes if you have a really nice, soft-spoken attorney, but they're a really effective trial attorney, but the person that's going to cross-examine the witness is more high energy, loud, boisterous, stuff like that. Yeah, oftentimes you and I have to take that script and turn up the heat a little bit if necessary. But I think it's important is to I think a couple things here. How you get over this? Number one, you tell the witness this is a very common thing, being emotional, and we have a training program to solve it. And we're going to teach you how emotional control through these scientific methods. And then number two, to simulate appropriately, meaning know who your adversary is going to be, who's going to cross-examine. Sometimes you get an attorney that's not so aggressive, but they're sneaky.
Yeah.
They repeat questions. They slightly reword questions. They act as if though they're confused or that they're not following the witness's answer. And all that stuff is a threat. And then that amygdala hippocampal circuit takes over and blah, 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 blah. Your witness will not shut up. So we have a we have a system for this, and it works. But oftentimes it's not pretty. But I tell you what, it'll get that witness through the deposition without having a damn meltdown. Have the meltdown during the simulation, during the training. Do not have your meltdown during the testimony. And here's where defense counsel has to be really careful. Okay. Stop listening to your witnesses who say they won't have a meltdown. That's the number one red flag of meltdown. I'm not going to have a meltdown, right? Number one. Number two, you're not psychologists, folks. You're like, you develop this buddy relationship with your client, and then you call me into, oh no, this lady, she's really got it together. She's really cool and calm and blah blah blah. Or this guy is very, he's very poised. I'm like, oh really? Well, let me be the judge of that. And I'll make these people do things they've never done before because I'll play every trick in the book on them and they're going to fall for it. Defense counsel needs to be very wary of their armchair social assessments of their witnesses. You can't assess somebody in the workplace. Well, how do you know the witness is going to do well? Oh, well, I went to their workplace and you should see how they interact with other people, blah, blah, blah. They got great community. I'm like, that is not a litigation setting. That's a workplace setting. Number three, witness training done in the workplace setting. I can't stand it. You need to yank them out of their workplace. The next witness prep I do of a doctor in a hospital conference room, I'm just going to shoot myself. It doesn't work. You got to get them out of the medical setting or the work setting, get them into a legal setting. All right. Moving around. By the way, did I tell you my new chair for the podcast studio is on the way? And until that, I've got the whoa, see, I'm gonna fall. Yep, I got the bouncy ball. I got my posture ball, right? This is what I do my abs on, but now it's like the video you sent me, I just kind of bounce around here. If I do this on a Zoom call, this is gonna be it. Be like, everybody's like, is everything okay? I'm like, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, as everybody gets motion sickness. Like
motion sickness. All right, number 12, control fallacies. This is one that comes up a lot. Is that you get a witness that comes in, they are they're worried, and they're worried is they have zero or very little experience in litigation, and they feel like they're helpless. They feel like I had this. A witness about 10 years ago, and he was just distraught. And he's like, I feel like I'm a leaf blowing around in the wind. I'm a leaf just blowing, like this plaintiff attorney can just do whatever they want. I have zero control. And people that have, low levels of, perceived self-control are not going to do well. And this is really a huge cognitive distortion, because again, what we teach the witnesses is they have most of the control, right? They have all the control. They have most of the control, and they need to be taught that and believe that to get rid of this distortion, because the witness has, for example, the witness controls the most important thing of the testimony, the pace, the back and forth, right? Are they going to run the fast break with plaintiff attorney and get dunked on every time? Or are they going to slow it down like Princeton and Virginia and run their offense, right? They have full control over that. And as you know, we want them to be Princeton and Virginia. We do not want them being North Carolina or Kentucky. Michigan State, I don't even know if they're capable of running up and down the floor, but I'm not going to.
They're not. They're more slow paced.
Okay, they're slow paced. So say, okay, fine. Then be Michigan State, but don't be North Carolina and Kentucky. They have control of that. Okay. Number two, they have control of the words, their answers. Okay. With proper preparation and proper training, right? They can access those answers in their brain, deliver them in a concise, precise, and very, very effective way, and not get wordy, not get off track, not get disorganized, not volunteer information, not get into teaching mode. They have full control over that. Full control. Number three, they have full control of the best answer in deposition history. I disagree. They have full control to say, nah, I reject what you're saying. I'm not letting you put words in my mouth. They have full control of that. Full. Okay. So one of the main things I want to do in witness training is to build the witness's confidence with these tools. They know this. I know it feels terrible and it looks terrible. It sounds terrible. You have a lot of control here. I need to teach you where your control is and how to use it. Because, I mean, Steve, being a social psychologist, you have a person that feels like they're in a situation and they have zero control. I mean, the helplessness just takes over, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's the whole idea of learned helplessness. They just kind of lay down and take their licks because they think they don't have any control at all. And I think it always surprises me. I mean, it shouldn't surprise me, but it always does when you tell them, you can ask to have a question rephrased, you can ask to have a question repeated, and the witnesses go, I can do that. I can ask to have it repeated. I can ask to have it broken down.
More control. Hey, more control. Hey, I can look at the document. Yes. More control. So you make this longer list of control, and they're like, oh, wow, I didn't know that. But here's the thing, Steve. A cross-examiner, again, whether it be a plaintiff attorney or a defense attorney deposing a co-defendant, right? I don't know. They're not going to advertise, oh, by the way, in the first, they go through the introduction of the deposition, right? Yeah. Make sure you answer verbally, blah, blah, blah. But, all that stuff. Don't nod your head. All the rules that if you don't understand the question, let me know. All that stuff as part of that orientation to the witness, they don't say, by the way, you're actually in full control here. You can take your time. You don't have to rush your answers. You don't have to give long answers. You can just answer my question and shut the blank up. Right? STFU. Oh, love it. Yeah. Okay. I mean, they're not going to tell the witness, hey, here's all the control you have, by the way. No, the witness needs to be trained to do so. And if not, like you said, learn helplessness. And then the entire deposition will be an epic disaster because these folks will typically just roll over on every issue. And we're going to talk about another paper I have going. I have to get you involved on this one. We talk about fight or flight. We got the freeze response. Amazing evolutionary response. And it's a survival response. Okay. And it's not controlled by the sympathetic nervous system like the fight or flight is. It's actually an overstimulation of the parasympathetic nervous system. And it's the playing dead response. And so I started looking up videos on this. And by the way, when you start watching like nature videos and like animals eating each other, this is very disturbing shit. It's nature. It's nature, but it's pretty crazy stuff. Like I saw a tiger in Africa literally attack a crocodile and just kick its ass. A crocodile. I'm like, damn, that's pretty impressive, right? Yeah. You start watching stuff like that, but then you start watching the tiger chase around like that, that small antelope. And know what the antelope does? They fall to the ground and play dead. And the tiger goes to do their thing. And like the tiger gets confused and they kind of mess with it. and there's no fight, there's no chase, there's no nothing. And the tiger gets confused and walks away. And then 5 minutes later, the antelope, pokes its head up and runs away. Okay, that's an evolutionary response. Well, it's a mammalian response, and we're mammals, and witnesses do the same thing. And I'm going to do a separate podcast and paper on this, but they play dead. They play dead, and we call this the free. So you got fight or flight. We call this the freeze/appease response. Meaning, if I sit here and freeze, and I just keep saying yes, yes, yep, yep, anything you say, I'm never going to get attacked during this deposition. I'm going to appease this questioner, and I survive. Well, that's great for survival, okay, of the witness. Okay, the problem is your case is going to tank, right? And they're just going to say yes to anything and everything. So freeze and appease, we'll talk more about that. But that's a very interesting evolutionary response. Okay, number 13, this is it. Our last one. And boy, this you can see how some of these overlap because you get emotional during some of these. The fallacy of fairness. How many times, Steve, where you just have this pissed off witness that this is not fair.
Yeah.
This litigation's bullshit. This is a bullshit lawsuit. This is not fair. I've worked too hard. Here's the way. I've worked too hard to deserve this.
Yeah.
Too hard, too many years. I don't deserve this. That's an interesting cognitive distortion because I find it to be, it's kind of like a subcategory of emotion, this whole fairness thing. That's not an easy thing to get rid of, is it?
No. Yeah. And like you said, it when you get a witness to coming in there talking about whether or not it's fair and how it's not fair to them, and that you got a problem right off the bat.
A huge problem. It's typically the first thing out of their mouth too.
Yeah.
And I see this a lot where you have this is litigation maybe involving smaller companies, maybe, or mid-sized companies or family-owned companies, right? That are being sued, and someone that's worked their way up to the top. This is not fair. And there's a huge emotional component to that. The way I deal with that is to say, well, life's not fair.
Yeah.
Okay. And litigation is not fair. This has nothing to do with fairness. I take them back to the economic part of this. And I also try and normalize it, particularly when you're in a business. Most businesses, when it comes to litigation, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. It happens to everybody. And to dump the fairness thing and to take a more, because that's a very reactive, right? That's a very reactive approach versus the proactive approach is, hey, I think this lawsuit is bullshit, and I want to do everything I can to put myself in the best position to get through this and to have the best outcome, and to take a much more positive approach to this. But yeah, the whole fairness kind of poor me, that's not going to work for the witness. It also keeps them up at night, and then they're just being a total jerk all day to their coworkers. It's litigation oftentimes is not fair. There's a lot of litigation out there where the defendant feels like they're being wrongfully accused. It sucks. I mean, it sucks, and there's no way around that. I think another important, Steve, thing is to acknowledge the suckness, right? Hey, this sucks.
Yeah.
This sucks. But guess what? This is what I do for a living. This is what your attorney does for a living. And we're trying to take the suckness out of this. And then you can use that control thing in your favor. You go back to the control. Hey, you have all this control. Here's your weaponry. Here are your tools. And you can get through this. But I would say if you have a witness coming in with this type of cognitive distortion, unfairness, you cannot do anything in the witness prep until you get over this.
Yeah. And, I think, I was just going to say, I think I like your idea, life's not fair and all that stuff like that. But I think at the same time, it goes back to, I think, what we talk about all the time about allowing the witnesses to dump their emotions, because, I think you're not going to do yourself any favors to just have them say, it's not fair, and then say, yeah, we'll just get over it and let's move on.
Yeah.
Like I think you said is embrace and accept the fact that they think that it's unfair, that you agree that it's unfair, that you agree that it's bullshit. But then it's like, okay, well, now we all know that. So now let's do what we can in order to make this frivolous lawsuit or this bullshit lawsuit, go away. And the way we do that is by helping you give a good deposition. Now that's how we show that it's that's how we return control. That's how we return the fairness, is by you taking this seriously, you giving a good deposition, and, making sure that it's an outcome that's favorable to us, rather than say, like you said, woe is me, and just rolling over.
I completely agree. And to kind of end on this note, which I've seen a lot of the emotion and the sometimes this unfairness thing can pop up in the middle of the litigation. And here's how. I think we talked about this on one of the previous podcasts. When the insurance company refuses to settle the case. And now the unfairness is not pointed at the plaintiff, it's pointed at the insurance company going, this is unfair. Just settle the damn case, right? This case needs to be settled. And then they're all angry again. And then here we go. So there's a lot of, you can see how emotion plays such a huge, huge factor. Let's just kind of wrap up here with these cognitive distortions. I mean, again, 95% of witness testimony is cognition, emotion, behavior. 95%, which is why we do what we do. Those are facts. That's it. You can have the most prepared witness in the world that can massively fail at deposition or trial, largely due to these 3 psychological factors or some combination of them, which is why, the training is so important to protect, to protect all that preparation that you're doing. Countless attorneys have told, I spent a week with this witness and then they still tanked. Well, it's a cognitive problem, an emotional problem, or a behavioral problem.
Yep.
It's one of those 3 or a combination of those 3. Sometimes it's all 3. So it's really important. I'm glad that we went through these and we broke it up into the 3 parts. We'll get this paper out soon. I'll determine where we're going to publish it, whether it's going to be more of a national thing or an industry specific thing. I mean, this really goes across industry, so I'm not sure we want to go industry, but we'll talk about it. But Steve, good podcast. Any closing thoughts on this? I really feel that continuing to really educate our defense counsel and clients about how the witness brain works and about how the juror brain works. Those are the 2 things that we bring our value to. And the more you understand that, the better decisions that you're gonna make, the better outcomes you're gonna have.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, just to piggyback off that, once again, just understanding that at the end of the day, witnesses are human beings. Human beings have, emotions. Human beings, that's why there's whole fields of psychology related to cognitive, like your area, social, my area, that at the end of the day, people are people, and you need to understand that people have certain quirks to them and that those need to be addressed prior to deposition versus let's just focus on the black and white letter of the law. That can only get you so far. And to get you past the goal line, you're going to have to focus on these other things. So great topic. Enjoyed this podcast. Like I said, we'll get together and we'll finish up this paper, get this thing out so that other people can start to read it and use it as they progress through litigation. So, and a CLE, we'll do a CLE so we can come to your company, your law firm, maybe DRI. Got to think about that. DRI's changed a lot the last couple of years. May want to go elsewhere with that, but we'll get a CLE to your organizations. I know the trucking organizations be all of this, the healthcare organizations, the products folks. I mean, there's a lot. Again, this topic goes across all areas. So, thanks for a good podcast. Yes, thanks. This has been another edition of Litigation Psychology Podcast brought to you by Courtroom Sciences. As always, go to courtroomsciences.com to find all other podcasts, papers Bill and I have written, and a lot of other useful material out there for your litigation psychology needs. Take care. Sit.